Have you ever seen the Rishat structure in Northwest Africa? Well, supposedly scientists don't know what created it, but in my opinion, they know. They just don't want you to know. You see, they have gone through great lengths to keep the true nature of this creation a secret. They do what they always do. They create false narratives to steer your mind away from anything but the truth. But I have the truth. But before I give you the evidence-backed truth about it, let's look and see what they say about it.
Attention, because it shows a structure that looks like a massive eye sitting in the middle of the Sahara Desert.
The astronauts spotted something that looked like an enormous 30-mile wide circular shape, which had a center surrounded by concentric rings of stone and sand. And it looked just like a giant eye from all the way up in space. Hence, it came to be known as the Eye of the Sahara.
More than 50 years after the Eye of the Sahara was revealed to the world, it remains a fascinating enigma and a striking sight to behold. Locals call it the Kalb al-Rishat, or while the Eye of the Sahara continues to puzzle experts. In recent years, a remarkable new theory about this mysterious structure has been presented. It's believed that this location could have once been the site of a fabled island kingdom that has never been found. The legendary lost city of Atlantis.
If you pull up the photos of these concentric circles, tell him...
Yeah, the Rishat, R-I-C-H-A-T. It's worth mentioning that, in the first couple, I just want to say it's Rishat. I used to call it Rikhat. I was mispronouncing it. But let me ask you this, Joe, real quick. When you saw my video, was that the very first time you had ever seen this thing before?
Yeah.
That's the thing. So many, when I first saw this, I was like, what the fuck is that? By the way, you see that white, all those white blemishes? That's salt. This was under the ocean, and people... Let me just say, you mentioned Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock. I love them. And I know for sure that they don't particularly think this is the site for a few different reasons. So let me say there's absolute doubt. Even I am not 100% certain. I'm not even 100% certain that Atlantis existed. What I am certain is that humans were doing spectacular things and a cataclysmic event happened called the Younger Dryas and reset something for somebody.
Is there a natural explanation for this formation?
Yes. So let me say that it is considered to be mysterious. They're not 100% certain of it. However, the consensus is that it was a volcanic dome that had risen and collapsed multiple times, like 100 million years ago, allegedly. I say allegedly, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with that. I'm just saying I would like to know where sometimes they get these figures from. Like, explain to me why it was 100 million years ago and not 99 or 98. Map it, just type in, even if you went to Mauritania, so you can see this from space. Astronauts use it as a locator, and they weren't really familiar or aware of it until the Gemini missions in the early 1960s. So if you just go to Google Earth, you'll be able to find this quite quickly. It stands out. And it's why they call it the Eye of Africa or the Eye of the Sahara.
Now, if you're familiar with my channel at all, you know how I like to tell you that they tell us the truth right in plain sight, and they keep calling this the Eye of the Sahara. I wonder why that would be. Well, I'm going to do a little zoom out for you here of this structure, and then I'm going to show you a few things. Keep that part right in mind. It kind of looks like something here to me. I can't quite place it. But when you compare it to the eye of an alligator, it looks quite similar. And again, when you compare the inner part in the concentric circles, it looks awfully similar to a bird's eye. But I don't think this is a giant petrified bird. Oh no, I think it's a giant petrified dragon. And I'm going to show you evidence of that. First, I want to just point out, this is from the actual map. So we have its eye here, full eye, and if you follow along here, you can see the curvature of a giant, half-covered, petrified dragon. It looks an awful lot like this, to be honest, even with the curved mouth part here. And I'm going to show you a scene from The Hobbit that I think is literally taken right from this dragon. To me, there is an uncanny resemblance to how they bury this dragon in gold and what that dragon looks like in Africa. Here's the dragon in Africa with its eye, and It looks like obviously there's been erosion and it's been buried from a flood and mud. And here's the Hobbit video. Looks pretty similar, because they literally like to tell us things right in the movies. And to me, that's no coincidence. Like I said, they'll go to every extent to keep you from knowing the true nature of the place you live. They want you in your little knowledge bubble and not breaking free. And if you're having a hard time thinking that this is an eye, especially of a dragon, well then you just haven't watched enough of my videos. So I'm going to add a little finisher. Because if you don't know that dragons existed, and giants existed, and dinosaurs are really just a story to keep you in that knowledge bubble, well then you're still in that knowledge bubble. And here's a clip of one of my old videos to help you break out. Let's first take a look at what the 1946 dictionaries used to say. Dragons, now rare. Let's see what Alexa has to say about this. Alexa, how many dragon fossils have been found in the United States?
The number of dragon fossils found in the United States is limited. Only 5 fossils have been discovered so far, limiting the knowledge about these creatures. These fossils are studied by researchers to learn more about dragon species and their evolution. While the findings are preliminary, they provide insights into the life and times of these majestic creatures.
So the dictionary says they're real. Alexa says they're real. Several weeks ago in the UK, they found a fossil that looked like this, even though they called a plesiosaur. That sure looks like a dragon to me. And just a few weeks after that was found, CNN reveals that their scientist actually unveiled dragon remains. Not to mention how they're part of the Chinese zodiac with all real animals, and how there are over 30 verses in the Bible that reference dragons, and how my friend Lori sent me this amazing 1922 dictionary that just happens to have the word dragon in it. And let's see what it says. Is it going to say fictional character, mythical beast? Or is it going to say something else? Winged serpent. And if that still wasn't enough evidence for you, just go to the Google Maps and type that in and see this perfect outline of a dragon. And if you've seen my volcanoes are caused from the insides of dragons, well, look at this smoke just billowing out of where that dragon is. Tell me you don't see this. But you can go on believing what the scientists say, or you can start listening to the people like me who are actually trying to bring you truth. And as always, this was all for entertainment purposes. I know this is just a naturally occurring formation that just happens to look exactly like an eyeball. Yeah, God does these things. He creates these strange looking anomalies. All for entertainment purposes only.